The most dangerous people in your life aren't your enemies. They're the ones constantly asking for your help. I need you to sit with that for a moment. Let it sink in. The people who are slowly destroying you, draining your energy, consuming your resources, stealing your potential, they are not the ones who openly oppose you. They are the ones who need you, the ones who call you when everything falls apart, the ones who say they don't know what they would do without you. They are dangerous precisely because they don't look dangerous. They look like people in need. They look like friends going through a hard time. They look like colleagues who just need a little help. They look like family members who would absolutely do the same for you if the situation were reversed. But they are not what they appear to be. They are something else entirely. They are parasites wearing the mask of the needy. They are predators disguised as prey. They are bottomless voids pretending to be temporary problems. And every time you reach out your hand to help them, they do not grasp it to pull themselves up. They grasp it to pull you down. But the situation is never reversed. Have you noticed that? The help only ever flows one direction. Your direction, outward, always outward. And no matter how much you give, no matter how many times you rescue them, no matter how deeply you sacrifice, nothing ever changes. They never get better. They never stand on their own. They never turn around and lift you up the way you have lifted them. And slowly, so slowly you barely notice it happening, you are depleted. Your energy is gone. Your resources are gone. Your time, your peace, your potential, all of it poured into people who consumed it without gratitude and without transformation. You gave them everything. They gave you nothing but the opportunity to give more. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. He wrote that there is nothing more difficult to plan, more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to manage than the creation of a new system. For the initiator has the enmity of all who would profit by the preservation of the old institutions, and merely lukewarm defenders in those who would gain by the new ones. What does this mean for you? It means that when you try to help certain people change their circumstances, you make enemies of the very people you are trying to save. They do not want transformation. They want comfort. They want to be rescued without changing. They want your resources without your expectations. And when you finally stop giving, they will hate you for it, not because you failed them, but because you stopped enabling them. Before we go deeper, if you are new to this channel, we explore the psychology of power, the philosophy of self-mastery, and the dark wisdom that most people are too comfortable to confront. If you are ready to stop being drained and start being strategic, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Drop this in the comments. I choose who deserves my help. Let me know you are ready to be ruthless with your generosity. Let me walk you through the 6 types of people who should never receive your help. Learn to recognize them, and you will save yourself years of wasted energy. Ignore this warning, and they will take everything you have. The first type is the eternal victim. You know this person. Their life is a constant state of emergency. There is always a crisis, always a catastrophe, always something terrible happening that requires your immediate attention and assistance. At first, you feel compassion. Of course you do. They are suffering. They need help. What kind of person would you be if you turned away from someone in genuine distress? So you help. You give your time, your energy, your advice, your resources. You solve the immediate problem. You feel good about yourself. You are a good person who helps those in need. But then something strange happens. Another crisis emerges. Different circumstances, but the same desperation. The same urgency, the same need for your intervention. So you help again, and again, and again. Months pass, years pass, and you begin to notice a pattern that you did not want to see. The crises never end. The circumstances never improve. No matter how many times you rescue this person, they always end up back in the same position, reaching out the same desperate hand, needing the same salvation. This is the eternal victim. And here is the dark truth about them. They do not want to be saved. They want to be rescued. There is a difference. Salvation is permanent. It requires change, growth, transformation. The saved person becomes someone new, someone capable of standing on their own, someone who no longer needs constant intervention. Rescue is temporary. It addresses the immediate crisis but changes nothing fundamental. The rescued person remains exactly who they were, waiting for the next crisis, waiting for the next rescue. The eternal victim has built their entire identity around being in crisis. It is how they get attention. It is how they form connections. It is how they avoid the terrifying work of actually changing their life. Their victimhood is not a circumstance, it is a strategy. And your help enables that strategy to continue. Think about how the eternal victim responds when you offer solutions instead of sympathy. Watch their face when you suggest concrete steps they could take to change their situation. There is resistance there. There is almost offense. They did not come to you for solutions. They came for the rescue, for the attention, for the feeling of being saved without having to do the work of saving themselves. And if you persist with practical advice, they will have reasons why none of it will work. They have tried everything. Their situation is different. You do not understand how hard it is. The obstacles are insurmountable. The system is against them. The world is unfair. There is always a reason why they cannot help themselves. There is never a reason why you should stop helping them. Every time you rescue them, you rob them of the opportunity to rescue themselves. Every time you solve their problem, you confirm their belief that they cannot solve their own problems. Your kindness is not helping them. It is keeping them exactly where they are. It is feeding the identity that traps them. And worse, it is draining you. Your energy, your time, your emotional bandwidth, your money, your peace, all of it flowing into a pit that will never be filled because the eternal victim needs the pit. Without it, who would they be? What would they talk about? How would they connect with others? The crisis is not their burden, it is their entire personality. Robert Greene observed that people who constantly position themselves as victims have learned that victimhood is power. It commands attention. It deflects responsibility. It makes others feel obligated to help. The eternal victim has weaponized their suffering, and you are the target. How do you recognize the eternal victim before you are trapped? Look for the pattern. 1 crisis is normal. 2 is unfortunate. But when someone's life is a series of emergencies stretching back years, when every conversation circles back to their suffering, when they have a remarkable ability to find catastrophe in any circumstance that is not bad luck, that is architecture. They have built a life of crisis because crisis works for them. The transformation requires a hard realization. You cannot save someone who has made helplessness their home. You can offer a hand out of the pit, but if they refuse to climb, your only choice is to withdraw the hand before they pull you in with them. The second type is the scorpion. There is an ancient fable about a scorpion who asks a frog to carry him across a river. The frog hesitates. "How do I know you won't sting me?" The scorpion replies, "Because if I sting you, we will both drown." The logic seems sound. The frog agrees. Halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog. As they both begin to sink, the frog asks, "Why?" "Now we will both die." The scorpion replies, "I could not help it. It is my nature." The scorpion in your life is the person who will betray you, not because you wronged them, not because you deserve it, but because betrayal is who they are. It is their nature, and no amount of kindness, no amount of help, no amount of trust will change that nature. The scorpion is often charming. They have to be. Their survival depends on getting close enough to sting. They will present themselves as grateful, loyal, trustworthy. They will make you feel like you have finally found someone who truly appreciates your help. And then, when it benefits them, or sometimes for no discernible benefit at all, they will betray you. They will share your secrets. They will undermine your reputation. They will take your resources and disappear. They will sting you, even if it means drowning themselves in the process. Because it is their nature, Machiavelli warned that some men are simply not capable of loyalty. Their psychology does not permit it. They may genuinely intend to be faithful in the moment they make a promise. But when circumstances shift, when opportunity presents itself, when betrayal becomes more convenient than loyalty, they will betray. Every time, without exception. The most dangerous thing about the Scorpion is that they often do not see themselves clearly. They have constructed elaborate justifications for their betrayals. They had no choice. You forced their hand. The circumstances demanded it. Anyone would have done the same. This self-deception makes them impossible to reform. You cannot help someone change a pattern they refuse to acknowledge. Gracian advised that we must learn to read people's nature, not just their words. The Scorpion will promise loyalty. The Scorpion will perform gratitude. But if you watch carefully, you will see signs of what they truly are. How do they speak about others who helped them in the past? How do they treat people who can do nothing for them? What happens when loyalty becomes inconvenient? The Scorpion cannot help revealing themselves. You just have to be willing to see it. Look at the history. The Scorpion always has a trail of broken relationships behind them. Former friends who no longer speak to them, former partners who warn others, former colleagues who learned the hard way. If you ask the Scorpion about these people, they will have explanations. Those people were the problem, not them. Everyone who got close enough to be stung is reframed as the villain in the Scorpion's story. The warning signs are there if you choose to see them. But most people do not choose to see. They want to believe they are special. They want to believe that the Scorpion will be different with them, that their kindness will be the kindness that finally transforms the Scorpion's nature. It will not. The Scorpion cannot change what it is, and your belief that you can change them through sufficient love and support is not compassion, it is arrogance. You are not that powerful. No one is. The only protection against the Scorpion is recognition and distance. See them for what they are. Accept that you cannot change them, and refuse to carry them across any rivers, no matter how convincingly they promise not to sting. The third type is the scorekeeper. On the surface, the scorekeeper appears generous. They help freely. They give without being asked. They show up when you need them, sometimes before you even realize you need them. But there is a ledger. You cannot see it, but it exists. Every favor is recorded. Every act of kindness is noted. Every sacrifice is documented with meticulous precision, and one day, the bill comes due. The scorekeeper does not give freely. They invest. Every kindness is a deposit into an account they fully intend to withdraw from with interest. They are not helping you because they care about you. They are building leverage. They are accumulating obligation. They are constructing a cage made of gratitude that will trap you when they are ready to collect. You will know you are dealing with a scorekeeper when they invoke past generosity during a disagreement. After everything I've done for you, remember when I helped you with, I was there for you when no one else was. This is the collection call. This is the moment all those gifts reveal themselves as transactions, and the price they are demanding now is always disproportionate to what they gave. They helped you move apartments, and now they expect you to sacrifice your integrity. They lent you money once, and now they own your loyalty forever. The scorekeeper has corrupted the very concept of kindness. In their hands, generosity becomes manipulation. Help becomes control. Every gift is a hook, and you are the fish. The most insidious part is that you feel genuinely guilty. They did help you. They were there. How can you refuse them now? What kind of ungrateful monster would you be? This is precisely the trap they constructed. Your guilt is their leverage. Your gratitude is their weapon. Green identified this as one of the most common forms of covert control. The scorekeeper understands that direct demands create resistance, but manufactured obligation, that creates compliance. You do what they want not because they forced you, but because you feel you owe them. The transformation requires understanding that true gifts have no strings. If someone is keeping score, They were never giving, they were purchasing. And you are not obligated to pay for transactions you never agreed to. If this is resonating, if you are recognizing these people in your own life, then hit the like button right now. This video exists to protect you. Every like tells the algorithm to show it to more people who are being drained by the wrong relationships. Make it count. The fourth type is the ladder climber. The ladder climber is friendly, interested, eager to connect. They want to know about your work, your network, your connections. They ask great questions. They remember details. They make you feel valued and seen, but you are not a person to them. You are a rung. The ladder climber views every relationship through one lens. What can this person do for my advancement? They are constantly calculating, constantly assessing, constantly positioning. Their warmth is strategic, their interest is extractive. Every conversation is an opportunity to gain something that helps them climb. Watch how the ladder climber enters a room. They scan. They assess. They identify who has power, who has connections, who has resources, and then they move toward those people with magnetic precision. The people who cannot help them rise? Invisible, irrelevant, not worth the energy of pretending to care. When you are useful, the ladder climber is attentive. When you can open doors, make introductions, provide resources, or enhance their status, they are your best friend. They respond quickly to your messages. They show up reliably to your events. They express gratitude effusively and publicly. They make you feel important. But watch what happens when you can no longer help them rise. Watch how quickly the texts slow down. Watch how busy they suddenly become when you need something. Watch how that warm friendship cools to polite acquaintance and then to nothing at all. Watch how they look through you at parties, scanning for someone more useful. You were never a friend. You were a resource. And when a resource is depleted, it gets discarded without sentiment. The ladder climber does not feel guilt about this. In their worldview, this is simply how things work. Everyone is climbing. Everyone is using everyone else. They are just more honest about it internally. At least, they have convinced themselves that their transactional approach to relationships is not cold. It is practical. It is realistic. It is how successful people operate. Machiavelli observed that men are quick to change allegiance when they perceive advantage in doing so. The ladder climber embodies this principle completely. Loyalty is a calculation for them, not a value. They are loyal to you exactly as long as that loyalty serves their ascent. The moment you become a weight rather than a lift, they will cut you loose without a backward glance. The most painful part is realizing, in retrospect, how many signs you missed. The ladder climber is not subtle once you know what to look for. They talk about people in terms of usefulness. They gravitate towards status and power. They drop relationships that no longer serve them without apparent guilt. They network with transparent ambition. They always seem to be looking over your shoulder for someone more important. But when you are the one being climbed upon, it feels like genuine connection. That is what makes it hurt so much when you become a discarded rung. Gracian advised that we should be slow to form friendships and slower still to trust. The ladder climber preys on people who connect quickly, who trust easily, who mistake interest for affection. Slow down. Watch patterns over time. See how they treat people who cannot help them. That is who they really are. That is who they will be with you, eventually. The fifth type is the envy-sick. The envy-sick person is close to you. A friend, a colleague, a family member. Someone who knows your struggles and your aspirations. Someone who is positioned to celebrate your victories, but they cannot celebrate. Your success makes them sick. Not sick with disappointment that they have not achieved the same. Sick with resentment that you achieved it at all. Your win is their loss, even when the two have nothing to do with each other. Your happiness is an accusation, a reminder of what they have not accomplished. Your growth is a betrayal of the stagnation you were supposed to share with them. The envy-sick person will not tell you this directly. They often do not even admit it to themselves. Instead, the envy leaks out sideways, in subtle undermining, in lukewarm support that feels like resistance, in helpful advice that would sabotage you if followed, in concern that is really just hope that you will fail. They smile when you succeed, but the smile does not reach their eyes. They congratulate you, but the words taste wrong. They are present at your victory, but somehow the room feels colder. There is something off that you cannot quite name, but you feel it every time. This is because your success is causing them pain, real, visceral pain, and some part of them, perhaps a part they cannot control, wants you to stop succeeding, wants you to struggle, wants you to fail, so they can feel better about their own stagnation. The envy-sick person rarely attacks directly. That would be too obvious, too easily identified. Instead, they work through subtle sabotage. They forget to pass along important information. They damn you with faint praise to others. They raise concerns about your decisions that plant seeds of doubt. They support you publicly while undermining you privately. And when you do fail, watch how they come alive. Watch how attentive they become, how present, how caring. They are never more supportive than when you are suffering. Your pain is their nourishment. The envy-sick person is dangerous because they are often a long-term fixture in your life. They were there before your success. They feel entitled to proximity. They remember when you were equals, when you struggled together, when your stagnation matched theirs. Your rise disrupted the equilibrium of the relationship, and they have never forgiven you for it. And because you have history, because you care about them, you make excuses for behavior that would be unacceptable from anyone else. You tell yourself they are just going through a hard time. You tell yourself they will come around. You tell yourself that true friends celebrate each other's success. And surely, they will celebrate eventually. They will not, because your success is not something to celebrate for them. It is something to survive. It is a wound that reopens every time you win. And as long as you keep winning, they will keep bleeding. The transformation requires accepting that some relationships cannot survive your growth. The envy-sick person has made your stagnation a condition of the friendship. They need you small to feel okay about their own smallness. Rise, anyway. Let them fall away. You are not responsible for managing their reaction to your life. You are not obligated to dim your light so they can feel comfortable in darkness. The sixth and final type is the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit is simple to understand and almost impossible to escape once you are caught. This is the person for whom no amount of help is ever enough. You give them money, they need more money. You give them time, they need more time. You give them advice, they need more advice. You give them everything you have, they are still reaching, still needing, still asking, still empty. There is something broken in them that your help cannot fix, a void that your resources cannot fill, a hunger that grows with feeding. The more you pour in, the larger the emptiness becomes. The bottomless pit often has a tragic quality that makes them difficult to abandon. There may be trauma in their history. There may be genuine suffering that explains, if not justifies, their endless need. You feel that if you just give a little more, help a little longer, sacrifice a little deeper, you will finally fill the void and they will be whole. You will not, because the void is not shaped like your help. The void is shaped like something only they can provide for themselves: self-worth, self-reliance, self-love. And as long as you keep pouring from the outside, they never have to develop those things from within. The more you give the bottomless pit, the more they need. This is the cruelest paradox. Your help is not building them up. It is training them to need help. It is confirming their belief that they cannot survive without external support. It is making the void larger even as you try to fill it. I have seen people destroy their finances for the bottomless pit, give away their savings, take on debt, work multiple jobs to support someone who could not or would not support themselves. And at the end of it all, the bottomless pit was still hungry, still needing, still reaching for more. I have seen people destroy their relationships for the bottomless pit, neglect spouses, ignore children, abandon friendships, all to feed someone whose appetite could never be satisfied. And when there was nothing left to give, the bottomless pit simply moved on to the next source, leaving devastation behind. I have seen people destroy their health for the bottomless pit, chronic stress, exhaustion, physical breakdown from the endless demands of someone who consumed without limit. Your body knows when you are being drained. It will tell you if you are willing to listen. The bottomless pit often does not mean harm. They are not malicious like the scorpion or calculating like the ladder climber. They are simply built to consume, and their consumption is innocent in the way that fire is innocent. It does not intend to destroy. It simply burns whatever it touches. But your intention does not matter when you are the one being burned. Their innocence does not matter when you are the one being consumed. The bottomless pit will take everything you have and ask for more, and they will not understand why you finally stop giving. Because they cannot understand. To understand would require seeing themselves clearly, and the bottomless pit cannot afford that kind of self-awareness. It would mean acknowledging the void. It would mean taking responsibility for filling it themselves. It would mean changing everything about how they relate to the world. Machiavelli warned that some people are simply not capable of being satisfied. There is no amount of help that will transform them into someone who does not need help. There is no level of sacrifice that will graduate them into self-sufficiency. They are what they are, endless need in human form. The transformation is not changing them. It is accepting what they are and protecting yourself accordingly. Close the door. Stop the flow. Let them feel the emptiness you have been temporarily masking. Maybe, just maybe, they will finally be forced to find their own way to fill it. Or maybe they will find another source to drain. Either way, it will no longer be you. So, who should you help? After all this, you might be tempted to close yourself off entirely, to hoard your resources, to refuse all requests, to become as cold and calculating as the people I have described. That would be a mistake. Strategic generosity is not the same as no generosity. The goal is not to stop helping. The goal is to stop helping people who will waste your help while ignoring people who would flourish from it. Help people who help themselves. Give to those who take your gift and build something with it. Invest in people who treat your kindness as an opportunity, not an entitlement. Help people who have helped others. Generosity that flows is beautiful. Generosity that pulls in one person and goes no further is corruption. Look for people who pass it on. They are worth your investment. Help people who are honest about their situation, not victims who blame the world, but people who take ownership even when ownership is painful. Self-awareness is the prerequisite for transformation. Without it, your help is just fuel for stagnation. Help people who show gratitude through action, not just words. Anyone can say thank you. Watch for people who demonstrate appreciation by becoming better, by needing less over time, by eventually being in a position to help someone else. Help people who would do the same for you, not as a transaction, but as a character trait. Some people are givers by nature. Find them, support them, build mutual relationships of genuine exchange, and know when to stop. Even with worthy people, there are limits. Your resources are finite. Your energy is finite. Your time is finite. You cannot pour indefinitely, even into good vessels. Know your boundaries. Maintain them. You cannot help anyone if you have destroyed yourself through indiscriminate giving. Here is your assignment. Think about where your help has been going. Make a list, mental or written, of the people who regularly receive your time, energy, resources, or emotional support. For each person, ask yourself, which of the 6 types are they? Are they an eternal victim, always in crisis, never changing? A scorpion, whose nature is betrayal. A scorekeeper, whose gifts are purchases. A ladder climber, whose interest is extraction. Envy-sick, poisoned by your success. A bottomless pit, impossible to fill. Or are they someone worthy, someone who grows from your help, someone who gives as well as receives, someone who would be there for you if positions were reversed? Be ruthless in this assessment. Be honest. The people draining you are counting on your reluctance to see them clearly. Once you have identified the unworthy recipients, begin withdrawing. Not with cruelty. You do not need to announce or justify. Simply become less available. Let the invitations decline. Let the texts go unanswered a little longer. Let the help slow and eventually stop. They will react. The eternal victim will escalate their crisis. The scorpion will sense the shift and may strike preemptively. The scorekeeper will invoke old debts. The ladder climber will try renewed charm. The envy-sick will feel vindicated in their resentment. The bottomless pit will simply reach for someone else. Let them. Their reactions are not your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. Your energy is your responsibility. Your potential is your responsibility. And you have been giving these things to people who did not deserve them. No more. If this video has changed how you see your relationships, if you are ready to stop being drained and start being strategic, then subscribe to this channel. We are building something here, a community of people who refuse to be used, who see through manipulation, who protect their energy for worthy investments. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what comes next. Your kindness is valuable. Stop wasting it on people who consume without gratitude. Start investing it in people who will make something beautiful from what you give. The 6 types are everywhere. Now you can see them. What you do with that vision is up to you.